First, we have Vinland Saga, volumes 1 through 12, up to date. It's about a Viking boy seeking revenge for his father's death. Next is the Full Metal Alchemist Full Metal Editions, volumes 1 through 17, up to date. It's about two brothers trying to get their bodies back using alchemy. Now we have JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, Part 1 complete, Part 2 complete, Part 3 complete, Part 4 complete, and then Part 5 up to date. Next, we have Goodnight Poon Poon, volumes 1 through 7. It's about a boy kind of going through life, and it's pretty depressing, especially towards volumes 5 to 7. It just gets really depressing, but otherwise, a very good story. Also, Goodnight Poon Poon is complete. Now we have To Your Eternity, volumes 1 through 16, up to date. It's basically about this orb that can transform into anything and kind of just tries to understand what it is to be human. Next up, we have Komi Can't Communicate. It's about a girl who has trouble talking to people, and she finds this boy that is going to help her make 100 friends. We got Black Butler, volumes 1 through 9, and then 11 and 12, not up to date. It's about a boy summoning a demon to become his butler to help him figure out who killed his parents. Next, we have Children of the Whales, volumes 1 and 2. I do believe the series is complete. I could be completely wrong. There's about 20-ish volumes. And it's about this boy who's on this boat, I would guess you could call it, island boat, and it's made out of mud, and they have magic, some of them do, and they usually die in their late 20s, early 30s, and then some people came and attacked them, and they thought they were the only ones, and it's pretty interesting. I hope to collect some more. Next up is Noragami, volumes 1 through 20, not up to date. I think volume 24 just came out a while ago. And it's basically about a god wanting to become a god of happiness and trying to get recognized among all the other gods. Next up is Shobit, the Collector's Editions, volume 1 through 4, complete. It's about a college human falling in love with a robot android. And yeah, that's basically about the whole series. Next up is Assassination Classrooms, volume 1 through 21, complete. And I need to finish this, but I think I read somewhere volume 6 is where I left off. I kind of stopped reading it because I wanted to collect all of it before I start reading it because I kind of forgot what happened. But basically, an octopus alien government experiment guy blew up the moon and threatened to annihilate Earth, but he won't if a high school class can kill him. Next up is Solius, the Perfect Editions, volume 1 to 2, not complete. And I kind of forget, but it's basically about these kids wanting to become the best reapers, I believe, in their society. Kind of forget. It's been maybe a year since I last read it, but pretty good. I watched the anime. I heard it's not the same as the end in the manga, and the manga's better. So hopefully once it's all out, I'll just kind of go on a binge and buy them all. Next up is One Piece, volumes 1 through 23, and finally, since they went down a lot, I got the second box set. So it's also volumes 24 all the way to 26. And it's basically, if no one knows, about this kid named Luffy who wants to become the Pirate King. Not up to date. Next up is Spy X Family, volumes 1 through 7, up to date. And it's about this guy who needs to infiltrate an enemy country to take down one of the leaders. Next up is Blade of the Immortal, Omnibus Volumes 1 through 2, not up to date. It's about this girl who wants a samurai who's immortal to kill the people who killed her parents. Next up is Berserk, Volumes 1 through 5 of the hardcovers, and then Volume 40 of Berserk. Next up is Berserk, Volumes 1 through 5 of the hardcover, and then paperback volume of 40. And it's sad that Kentaro passed away. I just got Volume 1 of the hardcover, and the next day, sadly, I heard that Kentaro passed away. Next, I have The Legend of Zelda. Kind of like this series. I guess you could say that each one is complete. It's like a one-shot. There's no real timeline. I like to think there is. So there's the only thing aside from that is that Ocarina of Time has 2 parts, and Four Sword has 2 parts. I don't have what was it? Twilight Princess. There's like 15 or 20 of it. I would like to trade these out and get the collector's editions or the legendary editions. Oh, okay. That just fell. Okay. Hopefully that stays. Alright. So next is just kind of like random one-shot / just kind of series I kind of want to collect, but it's not in the top priority. I just kind of collected this because it was like 50 cents. Next is Magical Girl Apocalypse. It's pretty gruesome. It's about this boy whose wish life was a bit more interesting, and then a bunch of magical girls just kind of showed up and started killing everyone. And then next is Yotsuba. I got that to try and learn Japanese, but kind of fell off on that. Probably will pick up later on. Next is Wolfen Children. I heard that it was a very beautiful story, so I got it when I was at my bookstore, and it's a nice, sweet story, fast read. Probably took me like 30 minutes to read the whole thing. And then we got Ubelblatt. Hopefully I read that right. Volume 0. And it's about this guy that wants to get his body back because his comrades basically killed him. And it's been a while since I read this volume. Kind of interested to get more, but last time I checked, each volume was like $50 or something. So kind of on the low end on my priority list. Next, we have The Walking Cat, a cat's eye view of the zombie apocalypse. Just the name alone, I thought it was interesting. Kind of lackluster, to be honest, but still a pretty good read. Just a cat going through the zombie apocalypse. And then we have Uzumaki by Junji Ito, one of the most famous horror mangakas. And it's really weird. It's about a town that got consumed by spirals. That's the best I can explain without spoiling anything too much. And then we have another, just the whole complete series, and it's about this one classroom that gets cursed, and people in the classroom die off every month. One person die every month. And next we got Demon Slayer, Fire and Water, or Water and Flame, and it's just a story about Rengoku and I forget the one Water Hashira's name, but basically a story about them. And then next we have Blade Backcamp, Volume 1, just high schoolers, I believe, kind of going camping, and that's basically all of it. Then we have Pokemon Black and White, Volumes 1 and 2, and we got 8, and it's about Pokemon Black and White. Next up is I Am a Hero, Volumes 1 through 3, and then Volume 7. It's about this guy going through a zombie apocalypse in Japan. Next up is Orange, the complete collections, volume 1 and 2. And it's about some high school friends trying to save one of their friends. And I believe that's not spoiling anything, but it's a pretty good story. I recommend. Next up is Burn the Witch, and it's about witches trying to hunt down like monsters and get money and become famous. At least that's what I think. It's been a while since I read this one. Next is One Punch Man. It's about a guy, Saitama, I believe his name is. He wants to become the world's best superhero, but then he became too strong, and that's all I really know about it. I kind of watched the first few episodes of the anime. Wanted to get the manga, but it was just a manga. I wanted more than One Punch Man. Next is Boruto, volumes 1 and 2. It's the sequel or prequel, I forget. I think it's sequel to Naruto, and it's about his son, who I'm not really sure what it's about. I just read the first 2 volumes, and it's just Boruto wanting to become, or trying to become a ninja. Next is Black Butler, kind of the same thing with One Punch Man. I watched the first few episodes of the anime, kind of wanted to get the manga, got volumes 7 and 8 because they were both like 50 cents at a bookstore, but I just never got around to collect more. Next is Rent a Girlfriend, volume 1. It's about this guy who rents a girlfriend, and yeah, pretty straightforward. Next is 21st Century Boys. No clue what this is about. I heard that 20th Century Boys was really good, and when I went to my bookstore, they didn't have the volume 1, so I decided to get 21st Century Boys, but decided that I should get the rest of it before I start reading 21st Century Boys, because I probably will have no clue what's going on. Next is Erase, volume 1. Plan to get the next 4 volumes eventually. Next up, we have the Quintessential Quintuplets, volumes 1 through 7. And it's about this guy who's really good in school, trying to teach 5 rich girls that are really bad at school. And one by one, they each fall in love with him. Next up is Fairy Tail, volumes 1 through 6. And then volumes 34 through 43, and then volumes 49 all the way to 63. 63 is the very last volume, and it's basically about magic users and a certain magic guild that kind of protects their friends. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Next up is Oran High School Host Clubs, volumes 1 through 18 complete. And it's about this girl who's not super rich, and she gets into this really rich high school that because of her exams, and she breaks something that's very expensive, and now she has to work it off by joining a club. Next up, we have Death Note, volumes 1 through 12, and if you want to count 13 as well, let's just have to read. It doesn't do anything with the story, and it's complete. And it's about this kid who discovers a notebook, and if he writes anyone's name down, they die within 30 seconds, I believe. Or he can write exactly how they can die, and that's how they will die. And it's a pretty interesting story. It involves the police, mafia, and like death gods, and pretty interesting story.